Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
Oh, we're live. April, you've got some very important information for us today. I'm going to rely on you to convey that information. I know you're going to do it as professionally as possible, but so give our audience just a quick feedback on going into business and having an LLC, which is what the World Community Magazine is. So, but you've got information that I tell you, it's catching some things I didn't know. Okay, so I'm anxious to get with that, and the ball is in your court.
All right. Well, first, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We have a very special guest. She's no stranger to the show, and she's here to talk about new requirements for LLCs. And these requirements went into effect January 1st. And if you don't know what these new requirements are, the word on the street is that it could cost you a lot of money, as much as $500 per day in fees, maybe even more. I just received a tidbit of information about it, saw a couple of posts on social media, and someone asked me about it, and I thought to myself, that's not my wheelhouse. I need to get an expert in here who knows what to say, how to say it, and what to do and how to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Tarsha, the Biz Bawse.
Well, hi, everyone.
Anderson-Laboard, how are you? All right, how are you doing?
I am lovely. Thank you so much, April, for having me here again.
Again. Yeah, you're a permanent fixture now. You're on rotation, as I say. You're in rotation.
I'll take it.
That's the new laws come in. That's when you start.
Well, Tarsha does a lot. She does. She's a business consultant, advisor. She's a tax expert. She's, a finance consultant. You name it. She's, got a lot of irons in the fire, but manages them all well and is very successful in what she does. And so, Tarsha, again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I just want to let our viewers know that you can post questions and comments, and Tarsha will answer them to the best of her ability. Call up everybody you know who has an LLC. This is for those who have active and dormant LLCs. You need this information. So before we get started, Tarsha, why don't you give the audience a little bit more about your background, and then we'll get into the subject for the evening.
Okay. So I am Tarsha, the Biz Bawse, as I am affectionately known as. I've been in the finance industry for almost 20 years. So I started off in banking and then went into taxes and insurance later. So I've been doing this for a good little minute. And although I do a lot of different things, they all kind of tie in together. So one thing kind of works hand in hand with everything else. So I try to create a hub for people to be able to have somebody trustworthy to handle all different sections of your financial world and make sure that everything kind of is working out and moving smoothly. So that pretty much sums it up. I'll say anything that has to do with business or money, I can kind of, get you situated. I'll say that.
Well, that's a good spot to be in, Tarsha, because a lot of people, they find it challenging to deal with financial issues or money issues. And as we know, that financial trouble is easy to get into, hard to get out of. Yeah. And so it's great that you have that kind of a background. And I think it's critical, especially at a time like this, when there's so many people who are trying to figure out, what's best for business, what they need to do. And just as soon as they feel like they have it figured out, bam, here comes something that's dropped down. And are these federal regulations that have come down that we're getting ready to talk about? Okay, federal regulations. And it is hard to stay up on top of that kind of information because sometimes there's so much rolling out. And if you're in business mode, unless you have someone like a Tarsha, the Biz Bawse, who's in your corner, you won't have it on your radar. You're just going to have making money on your radar, but you won't have, an idea of how to handle these things as they come in, or that, the urgency of them. So, Tarsha, tell us the latest. If you own an LLC, what are you facing now with these new requirements?
Okay, so just the first thing about this beneficial ownership information reports. This report, of course, is coming down from the Department of Treasury and Fincen.gov, which handles, financial crimes, money laundering, anything in that financial realm. They pretty much handle that. So where it started from was in 2021, they passed the Corporate Transparency Act. Okay. Now, just briefly to sum that act up is they want to be able to prevent, let's say, money laundering or shell companies, people who just have companies for shell that they're using to launder money. Notice the timing of it, 2021. So that was after, of course, all of the PPP.
Yep.
And all of that stuff. Everybody had a business. Everybody has a business. So I always kind of, say that everything has an action and a reaction. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really surprised by it because, there were thousands, millions, if not millions of new businesses started in order to get PPP funds. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some were real, some were not. So this is kind of the backlash, I think, from some of that. Okay. Because they need to know who's real and who isn't. This is going to weed out who's real and who isn't in some sort of way. Okay. So now the report, if you had a business before January 1st of 2024, you do have all year until January 1st, 2025 to get this report filed. Now, my personal opinion is I've been telling everyone to get this report done and over with because time goes by fast. And I'm sure you will forget to file it. It will be January 1st and you'll be like, oh, I never filed the form. So I kind of feel like while it's hot, while it's in your mind, go ahead and get the form filed. Okay. The form itself, I won't say it's easy, but it is simple. Are there people charging for the form to fill it out? There are. I personally, and it's only my personal reasons, I will not charge anybody to fill out this form. Mm-hmm. I walk people through it. I just can't do it. There are people doing it. Some of them are third parties. There may be some scammers out there trying to do it. So I really kind of wanted to tell everybody to get in front of the scammers because, anything that comes out, the scammers are already ready to be and jumping on you because you're scared. You have no idea what it is. A lot of people didn't hear about it because honestly, unless you were working with somebody in the finance realm, in the tax expert realm, you would not hear about it. It was not very publicly known just to any Joe Schmo. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of, be in the know to kind of even know about this form. Okay.
So Tarsha, where can they find this form?
So you can find this form at Fincen, FINCEN.gov/BOI. Okay. That when you can create a login. It's optional if you want to get a Fincen ID. You can, if you want to. You really don't have to. Now, if you have plans to, I guess, do something later, but you really don't have to get the ID. The Fincen ID will just kind of like verify your information. It's just like a unique number assigned to you. You don't have to get it. For the most part, the requirements for filling out this form is if you have an LLC. Okay. Now, if you've dissolved your LLC, it's completely dissolved, then you don't have to. But if you have an active LLC, like you go to the Secretary of State and it says good standing, you need to fill this form out.
So let me ask you this question. For those of people who have LLCs and let's say they're in the process of dissolving it, or they have been contemplating dissolving it, and then this thing has come up, is it best for them to file the BOI form anyway, or should they just continue the dissolution process?
I feel you should file it anyway, just to be on the safe side. And that's only because depending on where you are, every state and their dissolution is different. So I definitely wouldn't take any chances. It's not going to hurt you if you file it and you dissolve the LLC later. It'll be on record that you filed it. So if there's any question, file it. Okay, because go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. I was about to say this is relatively a new law, right?
Very new. Yes, very new.
Okay, because I got something in the mail today. I'm going to get it. It referenced something like that, but it was from a private entity. Okay.
Yes, of course, third parties are going to reach out to you. All of them may not be legit, but third parties are going to reach out because they want you to pay them to fill this form out. Right. So of course they're going to reach out to you. Like I said, all of them are not legit. And if you go onto the Fincen website, they're telling you like they're not soliciting, for this form. So of course it's totally third parties.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So Tarsha, if you will just kind of backtrack just a little bit, because I noticed that our viewer count is going up. And this particular form is now in existence for LLC, people who have LLCs, business owners that are LLCs. They must complete this form. And you were talking earlier about, when this, I guess this particular requirement kind of came into existence, but also, why it came into existence. And so let's back up a little bit for that and just explain again to the audience, what the purpose of this is all about and why now. Because it's brand new. I don't know that any literature went out saying, hey, this is coming down the hill. I think it just, all of a sudden, like I said, January 1st, there was information that was being shared on social media. So tell us again, back up for just a second, and let's talk about what's going on here with the LLCs.
Okay. Well, in 2021, they passed the Corporate Transparency Act. Which is where this form comes into play, and really it's just in short terms is it's to find out who is behind companies and who's actually a beneficial owner to prevent the shell companies or just kind of being aware. And really, it's all about money laundering for the most part, and to know who has ownership of these LLCs. Okay, so. Actually, it was if you're in the finance world, then we've kind of heard about it during the year, since the early part of the year actually. But if you're not in the finance world, honestly, I don't even really know how you would have known besides seeing somebody else if you're not in the finance world. Because just like anything else, of course, all the third parties just kind of came up with it. But it was mainly came into play, honestly, and listen, this is my opinion. Let me just put that out there, disclaimer. During the whole PPP era, and there were a lot of, businesses popping up. Everybody's mom and pop, every little cousin, everybody had a business during that time, or there were so many. So it kind of came into play then, or at least around that time. Okay. So this form, filling out this form pretty much states that you are claiming ownership of this LLC that you have. Okay. So you can be an officer of the LLC, a manager, but just know that if you fill this form out, you're basically assuming ownership of the LLC. And that's really what it's for. They want to know who owns this LLC. Is this LLC, does it actually have a person? That is, is it just somebody, whoever, Joe Smo, is this person real? Because honestly, most states, when you start an LLC, you don't really put in any identifying information. You don't put in your social, your birthday, none of that to identify you. You technically could put in whatever name you want when you're in most states when you're doing your LLC. I know I'll speak for South Carolina. You don't have to put in anything but a name, address, phone number, email. So it could be Mickey Mouse over there, and they got an LLC, you know. So doing this report, you do have to put in identifying information, you know, stating that you have ownership of this LLC. So a lot of that is very important so that they know it's real, because it could very well not be real. And I'm probably going to guess that the percentage of the LLCs that are real people are not behind them. So that's the main point in this form. Now, who needs to fill out this form? LLCs. Now, if you are a nonprofit, if you are a publicly traded company, if you are larger than LLC, like you're a C Corp, something like that, you don't have to do this form. Why you don't have to do this form with those? Because you already have a lot more requirements as far as identifying yourself. So they're kind of excluding you for that, okay? And there are a list of other exemptions for filling out this form based on the business that you have. So a lot of the businesses already in the finance world, like if you own an accounting firm, if you own an insurance company, stuff like that, you don't have to fill this form out, even if you have an LLC, because those are federally regulated finance industries. So they already got you on tap. They don't need to do it. Okay. So there are some businesses excluded. If I'm selling hair and I have an LLC, I need to be doing this form. Okay. So, and honestly, I'll tell people, if you're unsure, fill the form out anyway.
Do you think that the penalty, as far as the what was circulating across social media, do you think that the penalty is as tough as it is because of the situation with the corporations, and they're trying to figure out who's who and if they're legit? Okay, because what was stated in something that I guess was posted was that the fees or the penalties could be as much as $500 per day.
It is.
For this. Okay.
It is. It's starting January 1st, 2025. So if you had a business before January 1st, 2024, then you have the entire year. January 1st, 2025, your penalty will be $500 a day. If you do not do this report a day. They may max out at like 10,000, but who knows? And there could be other consequences after that. Okay. So that's one reason also why, I'm glad that you're doing this so people can know about this and take it to other people who don't know, because someone could not file it just because they don't know. They might have had an LLC for like 10 years and they do nothing with, but it's in good standing. So they just don't know. And imagine them being fined just because they don't know. So that fine definitely for the companies that are not real will definitely do some weeding out.
So your tax person, when you go to have your taxes done with an accountant, they should advise you of that, right?
They should. Yes, they should. Now I won't speak for everyone, but I do know that me and a lot of, people that I know in the industry, of course, are making it a point for our clients that we know have businesses to make sure this form is filed. So I definitely know that's a big conversation with, all of my clients, especially the clients that I know have businesses that, did you do this form? So at tax time, really, there's no reason why they won't have theirs filled out. We're going to make sure it gets done. But yes, your accountant should be very aware.
So you just answered Tanya Robinson's question. She said, "What are they doing to inform businesses?" And I guess it depends on how much of a client relationship these businesses have, meaning, the tax persons or finance persons or whatever. I hope they would be proactive to make sure there's some communication that goes out to their clients about it. But
I definitely would hope so.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Because on the governmental side, there's nothing that's going out. I'll say that. There's nothing that's going out. Unless, like I said, you happen to be watching the news. But even if you watch the news, if you're not in the industry of helping people themselves, I mean, honestly, how many people actually sit there and watch like CNN or finance or Bloomberg or something? I mean, a lot of people don't. Like, unless you're watching like stocks or something, a lot of people don't sit there and watch financial news.
Right.
All of the time.
It's kind of unfair, don't you think?
I agree.
But there's nothing across the board that's going out. So really, you have to, prayerfully, you have a relationship with somebody who is, going to make you aware and make sure that this gets done and explain it, to everybody. Because it's not going out across the board. It really, it just isn't, honestly. It may later on, but it isn't right now. So.
And to Brother Edward's point, the government definitely will contact you about a lot of things, especially if you're delinquent on taxes and, and all kinds of, and if you think about it, I know that this sounds like, okay, we put this in place so that we can filter out, like you said, who the legitimate businesses or what legitimate businesses do exist, especially in light of the PPP loan situation. But the reality is that most small businesses are LLCs. And so if you are a small business owner and you are just trying to make it day to day, and like I said, you're not even tuned into, what's really going on. A lot of people aren't even on social media. And to your point, Tarsha, they don't watch the news as often as they used to. And, I put up a banner a few minutes ago, $500 a day for 30 days is $15,000. That you can be fined at, at the point of, when this is actually enforced for certain business owners. And it seems really unfair. It seems like it's, in terms of like the information piece of it, right. Because small business owners are already kind of struggling, in a lot of respects. And then you're going to add, this new challenge here. And if they don't have, if businesses don't have someone like a Tarsha, Anderson-Laboard behind them, they just won't know. They'll be blindsided and could possibly lose everything they have, So, yeah, this is incredible, Brother Edward.
So let's get this straight. So, it's the IRS that will be penalizing you, right?
Well, the Department of Treasury, yes.
Department of Treasury.
Mm-hmm. They will be penalizing you. If you had your business before January 1st, 2024, you have the entire year to get the form filed. Now, if you open a business after January 1st, 2024, like I go open a business today, I have 90 days to get this filed.
Ooh.
I have 90 days. Okay. Starting January 1st, 2025, you got 30 days to get it filed.
So less time as time goes on to file.
Yes. So I guess they're hoping by January 1st, like everybody better be on it and to get it filed. Now, this is my only thing is because how can I put this? To be true. A lot of smaller businesses do not consult with professionals before opening their business. Okay.
That's right.
So the people that do consult with a CPA or accountant or a business coach or consultant will know that, okay, you're going to do this LLC, you need to do this form. But if I decide, I'm gonna start selling shoes today, I'm gonna go run over here and get an LLC because somebody told me all I gotta do is do my LLC and get my EIN. Am I gonna know about this form? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. So come 90 days, or if it's in 2025, 30 days, I'm gonna start getting hit with a fine because I didn't meet with anybody, so I don't know that I this is part of regulation now for me to have a business. that I need to do this form.
Yeah, I find this to be intriguingly true. I mean, not true, but kind of fascinating, for lack of a better word, because usually the Department of Treasury doesn't impose penalties. It's the IRS that usually wants to take all this stuff that you own and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is I think this is a first time thing happening with the Department of Treasury. Don't you think so?
Well, yeah, but it's governed by Fincen. So, you know, Fincen handles all the financials. So that's really who is behind this particular, because Fincen handles all the, you know, like the CTRs, the money transaction forms, all that. Fincen handles all of that stuff. So really they want to know, they just want to know where the money, they want to know who's behind the money.
So for those, right, for those of you who don't know, Fincen is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It is a government agency, a bureau of the United States Department of Treasury that collects and analyzes information about financial transactions in order to combat domestic and international money laundering, terrorist financing, and other financial crimes. So, you know, that's very telling, because that means that either they already know that there's a major problem in that area, and there was the urgent need to put something in place. So like you said, identify these LLC owners, or they speculate that, you know, if there's going to be a major fallout after the PPP. Now, the PPP, so the PPP was actually administered by the Department of Treasury, or who administered the PPPs?
So it was the Department of Treasury because it was backed by SBA.
Okay. This is a tangled web, Brother Edward. It's a tangled web.
Follow the money trails. The money trail. The money.
Right.
I certainly hope that all these things are substantiated, because it should be scaring a lot of people, whoever is looking at this broadcast today. You know, especially if you got a small LLC, and you're talking about, like April said, $500 a day. I mean, you know.
Let me put that banner back up just so everybody knows. That's $15,000 per month in fees. Mm-hmm.
For not meeting the timeline.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, and I've in business a lot of times, and what I do is I think this is an eye opener to consult and cross your T's, dot your I's when you consider going into business. It is a difference in business and hobby and just side gigs. When you're entering a world of business, it takes a different mindset, because you have to look at all these legal ramifications when you say, I'm going to open a business, okay? And I understand that, of course, you know, during the whole COVID, everybody's, become a business owner, become an entrepreneur. But it's not just that simple. Go get an EIN, get an LLC. Ooh, I'm a business owner. Yeah, it sounds all cute and, you know, flashy and all this and that, until it comes to the legal part of owning a business, which, as a business consultant, that's what I do. I take businesses from the ground up and make sure they have every legal thing checked off. That way, things like this don't even matter, because you're a legal business. If you are structured legally as a business, honestly, this doesn't even bother you, because you're already registered in the system. You have all your numbers you need. This would be nothing if your business is structured correctly. So when you thinking about going into business, then these are things you need to talk about. This is why you need to make sure your business is correct as a business. You know, of course, you know, for people that may have been in business for years, a lot of things change. So does it take maybe revamping my business? Let me make sure that my business is legal. Let me make sure that my business has what it needs. If they ever come and say, well, do I have this? Do I have that? Am I registered here, registered there? Am I do I have these things? It does maybe take a look if you're running a business, this matters. And, there may be a lot of people that are very worried about this, but there are a lot of people that are not worried about it because they know their business is structured. They know they've did all their forms. They've did what they need to do. So no worries. But for the people who have not, if you're running a business, you do need to sit down and let me make sure I have what I need for my business to be legal. If I'm running a legal business,
What about dormant businesses? I think that some people who may be listening tonight know of others who have businesses and they're very active in their businesses. But to your point, there may be people who are thinking, I want to revamp my business. They really haven't done anything with their business in the last 5 or 10 years. And so what are the implications for people who don't have any activity? The rules apply to them as well, correct?
Yes. If your business is dormant, you haven't did anything with it. But if you go onto Secretary of State website and it says in good standing, then this still applies to you. Because whether or not you've been actually running the business, made any money, did anything, if it's in good standing, then you're in good standing. So you need to do this form. Mm-hmm. Okay. And usually the best thing to do is if you are not going to continue to run that business, dissolve it. Because you can easily dissolve it, if you don't have plans for it. But if you not, you just want to, I'm gonna leave it. I might get started again in a couple of years or X, Y, and Z. Then this applies to you. So you just would need to check and make sure you're in good standing. If you're in good standing, then you need to do this form.
Well, that's showing good accountability. I agree with all that. Just without just letting a business lay dormant like that. Mm-hmm. I think that's I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So we have a comment. Go ahead. I was going to say we have a comment or question from Priscilla Fuller. What is the possibility of setting up a collaboration with minority businesses in the area to help with issues such as this?
Oh, that's a very good possibility. Just call me. I mean, if you're talking about me, April.
Yes, I think she's talking about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just call me. I definitely have no problem educating about different issues that affects businesses, especially minority businesses, and only because I definitely understand that. I mean, honestly, if you don't know, you don't know. Sometimes people don't tell you, and they know.
That's right.
And that's just being real about it. People unknown won't tell you. So I'm not like that. I don't gatekeep at all. I'm going to tell you. If I know, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, and that's very important. I will say, especially in our community, and it's another reason why I'm sure Priscilla posted what is the best way to get this out to minority businesses. Because minority businesses tend to be very, very small. Could be a 1-person or 2-person show. Like I said, this isn't even on their radar. They're probably hearing it word of mouth, but they're not getting all of the details to really understand what needs to be done. There's one person asking for your number as well. So you can pop it in the chat if you want me to put it on the banner or your email address, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Tarsha also has a Facebook page. Tarsha, are you on any other social media?
I have Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. I do have Instagram, TikTok, but I'm always very active on Facebook. I think that's most of the time how me and April communicate on there. But I'm very active. I do workshops, different things like that. So definitely, if an issue like this or anything that is related or just needs to be, I definitely don't have a problem doing a workshop or whatnot for it. I really don't. I do finance workshops all the time. So definitely just reach out to me. I'm that person that, listen, if you call, I'm going to answer. I promise you, I'm going to answer.
Absolutely. So, of course, we're inviting you to post your questions and comments in the last few minutes that we have of the broadcast. About 15 minutes left, and I know that there's some of you who just tuned in. You may want to share this broadcast. If not, if you have questions, please post them. And if Tarsha can't answer them tonight, we will definitely, get the information to her so that she can answer it as well as a follow-up. But like I said, the Biz Bawse, she's been with us in the past couple of years. Actually, we talked about new tax laws that were coming down the pipe, and I think that was due during COVID, maybe.
And
we had you on
about student loans.
Yeah, I mean, some of everything.
Something else also we spoke about. Yeah,
so great resource, and this information is very, very valuable and very powerful in terms of making sure that the business communities are educated. So aside from, what we're talking about tonight, Tarsha, is there any little hint or tidbit you want to share with our listening audience? It is tax time. And
it is.
It is tax time.
It is, okay?
Yeah,
so listen. In light of all of this, so for tax time as well, and this is just something that I've kind of been sharing with people, whether or not, I do your taxes or not. Be very, very diligent in record keeping. Be very diligent in income and expenses, claiming all of your income, claiming your expenses that you are supposed to be claiming. There are, listen, it's getting serious now. Okay, getting serious. So just kind of be very mindful. If you have someone else preparing your taxes, look at your taxes, please. Look at your taxes. Make sure that you're kind of aware of what's on there. Just kind of be in the know. Like I said, keep good records. Use your business accounts. Okay. Use payment processors. If you're totally cash business, make sure you are putting that money in a business account. Make sure you're keeping your receipts for your expenses. The easiest way is to kind of run everything through your business account. It's the easiest way. I know a lot of people, sometimes they're like, oh, I didn't do that. I just buy with my money. Listen, the easiest way, keep it all in one place. You can always pull your records, different things like that. But just make sure that if you haven't been diligent with record keeping, make sure you get diligent with record keeping for your businesses. Okay. Outside of business, make sure that you are claiming people that you have a right to claim. Make sure you're claiming children that live in your house, or you have a right to claim them with documentation. Okay. Just be diligent. That's all I'm gonna say. A lot of audits have been in the past year. A lot of audits are going to come up. Some are random. Most are random. But some are red flag through their systems. So depending on what it is, it may give off that little ding ding that we need to audit you. So just be very mindful in business about what you're claiming, and honestly, what your tax preparer is putting on your return. Because you may get happy. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm getting back that refund, and I'm this and that. You're gonna need to make sure that refund is due to you. So, just kind of browse through, be diligent, browse through what's going on. See if the numbers match what you made and, what your expenses were, that kind of thing. I think far as tax-wise, that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Be diligent. That's all I'm going to say. Be very diligent. If you are in business, make sure you're making a profit. If you've claimed a loss the last 3, 4, 5 years, your tax preparer should be having a conversation with you.
And I want to say that before I put this comment up. I remember Sanford and Son is one of my favorite shows. Red Fox, one of my favorites, right? And I remember how he had the guy who would come in and do his taxes, and he pretty much had like a bag of receipts and all that. And the guy was like, here, claim this, claim that, whatever, blah. And a lot of people tend to lean that way where they're claiming things that they shouldn't claim. So, the diligence in it all is making sure that, like you said, you're claiming what's rightfully yours to claim so that you don't get into any tax trouble later on. But also that you have someone who understands taxes, not someone who's just like, well, yeah, I read this and it, seems right. You got to have someone who really understands the ins and outs, the tax laws, the loopholes, all of that.
Please,
it's highly important, especially if you're in business. Yeah. Tim McCray, thank you for watching tonight. He says the South Carolina Commission for Minority Affairs wants to host a workshop with you, Tarsha. So, all right. So, Tim, I posted her information, and I'll do it again so that you can make sure that you see it. It's as simple as that. And here's her phone number, Tarsha, the Biz Bawse, Anderson-Laboard, and she is out of Charleston, South Carolina, correct?
But I have no problem traveling.
I know you don't. You'll make it happen. And here's her email address as well. And also, Miss Priscilla, if you know of organizations that want to do this, Miss Priscilla is in the Horry County, Conway area. So, Tarsha, sounds like they're trying to pull you out of your comfort zone.
Listen, I go all over, so it is fine. I do workshops every year for the AME Church, for one of the chapters here of the AKAs. I mean, every quarter I'm doing some type of finance workshop, from budgeting to the basic of investing, insurance, just finance, period. I've been doing a lot of budgeting because that's a basis for a lot of different things. Taxes, especially business tax, payroll tax. I go into a lot of businesses and talk about payroll. And how smaller businesses should be doing payroll. Of course, large companies, it's kind of, a given. They're just going to handle it. But a lot of times with smaller companies, it's a little bit more, complex, because you just don't have that many people, and, you don't have these big companies doing your payroll for you. So it's a wide range. I custom make your workshop to whatever you need.
And I was going to ask, it is good to know. I was going to ask if you're accepting new clients, or,
I am. Always.
Okay, because this is tax season. I'm sure you're very busy, but you definitely, we definitely want the audience to know whether or not you're taking new clients or whatever.
I'm always taking new clients.
Okay. All right.
Taking new clients. And then let me say this before we wrap up about this BOI form. And this is just solely, like I said, my opinion. Do not pay anybody to do this form for you. I mean, unless it's like your tax person, your accountant, something, if you want to, but do not pay any of these companies that are contacting you and going to charge you $50, $75, $100 to fill this form out. Before you do that, please contact me. I'll help walk you through the form.
So you're implying that it's so simple.
It's simple enough where you can keep your coins in your pocket.
So
I'm not going to say it's so simple, but it's simple enough. Keep your coins in your pocket.
Yeah, right. How many pages are we looking at? Just off the top of your head.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5.
5.
Yeah. The first page, you put in your business info. So you put your EIN, the name, the legal name of your LLC. Right. The second page is the company. I think the company role or something like that. No, don't quote me on that. Then the third page, I believe, is the beneficial ownership, which is your information. And then the last page is just, I think, some verifying info. And then you hit submit. And it'll give you a receipt saying that you submitted it. You'll also get an email too. So, that's pretty much
simple as that.
Simple as that.
I don't like to say simple is easy, because I know easy stuff always isn't easy for everybody.
I'm always skeptical about putting my social security number, sending my social security number out.
Yeah, you're just verifying. You're verifying. Like I said, you can create a Fincen ID if you want to. You don't have to, so that cuts that step out. But it's simple enough to where, I'm all about saving coins. So I wouldn't pay anybody to do it. I don't even want anybody to pay me to do it. That's just how I think easy it flows.
So when you get this Fincen ID, which is what you said, who will be asking for it? Why is it needed in such a way that you think that you'll go to some company or something, and will they ask for that particular ID?
So I don't, as of right now, I don't see where you would need the ID. The only thing that I'm thinking about is maybe later on, if you want to, let's say you open an insurance company. It may be something that they just may kind of look through the system and see if you have. But if you're selling shoes, you probably won't ever use it again. Honestly. So I really don't think that's why they said it's optional. Because trust me, if it was something they wanted you to have, they would say everybody has to get this number. But I don't even see where you would use it again, unless you're working maybe in that industry. Then it's a chance you may apply for something later and they ask, do you have a Fincen ID if you're working with money or something like that. But as of right now, I mean, I don't know what you would use it for.
Confusing what you said is kind of is optional. If it were optional, then why the penalty?
That's for the Fincen is the actual ID number. So when you go on there, you can get your own personal ID to identify you. So that's what's optional. Even though you're going to put in all your information, the ID number is optional.
Okay.
So, like I said, unless you deal with money or you have a business, I mean, you might want it later on to be identified or let Fincen know that, yeah, you're straight. You don't have any, you don't want no problems. Then you might get it. But just regularly, I mean, I don't really see where you would even use it. So that's why they said it's optional to get that ID number.
Right. I'm on the website, and it is an official website of the United States government, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is Fincen. And on the homepage, there's actually information about the beneficial ownership information. All of the details that Tarsha provided us tonight are on this website, and it's fincen.gov. But if you click on that first article, it takes you inside of an immediate release that was done January 1st, stating that, the BOI information registry is now accepting reports. It does mention that the reporting is not an annual requirement. A report only needs to be submitted once unless the filer needs to update or correct information. And generally, reporting companies must provide 4 pieces of information about each beneficial owner: their name, date of birth, address, and the identifying number and issuer from either a non-expired U.S. Driver's license, passport, identification document issued by the state, local government, Indian tribe, etc. So, to your point, it's kind of like with anything else. If you want to set up these IDs so that it's easy for you to access the site at any time, fine. But if not, then use your other information to verify who you are, because that's what they're doing, is trying to verify who you are. So go to that Fincen site, and I think I had it on a banner earlier. If not, I'll put that up. Oh, there it is right there. The BOI form can be found at fincen.gov/BOI.
And there is a PDF of the form or the online version. I promise you the online version is easier. Don't print it out and then mail it like that. Yeah, I would do the online version only because you'll get immediate receipt that it was submitted. You get immediate. I don't know how the mail is going to work as far as like getting the form, printing it out, mailing it. I don't know. That would make my nerves bad, wondering if they actually got it. Yeah.
It's sitting on somebody's desk.
Right. It's on the mail. It's on the mail truck. Yeah, I don't know about that. So.
Well, Tarsha, I tell you, you've given us a wealth of information here. Brother Edward, I saw him taking notes. He was just like, writing things down. And I was too. But yeah, because I want to pass this on. I have a couple of text messages, folks saying, hey, please share that information about the broadcast. I can't make it right now, but I will watch the broadcast, the rebroadcast. So this is, powerful information with a very useful shelf life. And so, Tarsha, thank you so much for being with us tonight. If there's ever any other financial topics or issues that you think people need to know about, and I haven't reached out to you, reach back to me and say, hey, I want to come on the show and talk about this. And we'd be happy to have you at any time. Like I said, you're a permanent fixture. We appreciate what you do. And I hope that the persons who mentioned tonight doing some collaborative initiatives in various places will reach out to you as well so that we can get this information out to everybody. So thank you for being with us tonight.
Definitely. And I plan to at least try to, or maybe if even like during half the year, you want to come back and we talk about it because it's hot right now. But then, halfway through the year, like I said, people will say, oh, I meant to do it. And then, they haven't done it yet. So we definitely can probably touch back, mid-year or so, just to kind of make sure everybody got it done. And like I said, if anybody wants any assistance doing it, please reach out. Like I definitely have no problem helping you to get it done or, make sure that you do it correctly.
Well, I can see a lot of penalties going to be applied.
Put that number back up there, $15,000
a month. Man,
listen, that is definitely not free 99.
No, she remember that, Brother Ellis. You are absolutely that.
Yeah. So let me say that the form is free 99 to fill out. Okay. And that's one reason why I'm like, please don't pay nobody. The form is free 99.
That's right. That's free. Right. That's right. Only. One time. They said doesn't have to it's not annual. One time. Mm-hmm.
Free 99. There's no fee for this form.
Wow. That's okay. Yeah. Oh man.
No fee.
Wow. It's 8 o'clock. Well, I'm putting so much value in this discussion here that really don't want to turn you off, Tarsha. But
you got to go. Okay.
We'll try to hook up in the magazine. What about that?
Okay, sure.
That'd be a great hookup. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if he keeps pressing a button or what he's doing, but there is someone who asked, once again, Tarsha, before you leave, when is the deadline? So for businesses that were in existence before January 1st of this year, you have until January 1st, 2025 to submit this form. Am I right?
That's correct. That's
correct.
Okay. If you create a business after January 1st of 2024, so you go start a business now, you have 90 days. Okay? 90 days. So, but if you had a business before January 1st, you have the entire year till January 1st, 2025. But do not play with that before you forget. And people will forget.
They will forget. So we gotta have that. Yeah, we have to have that mid-year check-in. And then also she mentioned that if you in 2025 you will only have 30 days to submit the form. So Yeah. So Sister Joella says, excellent show and information. Thank you, Sister Joella. We have to thank Tarsha for giving us her time tonight and sharing this powerful information. She did not charge us a thing to do this. So she's letting the community know what's going on, and she welcomes collaboration. So get in touch with her. I'm going to flash her information again. It's Tarsha, the Biz Bawse, Anderson-Laboard. That's her phone number. And then here is her email address, but she's also on Facebook. So should they find you under the Biz Bawse on Facebook?
It's under Tarsha Anderson-Laboard.
Okay, under Tarsha Anderson-Laboard. So yeah, we hope that you connect with our viewers or anyone who's looking for your help. And she is accepting new clients, so keep that in mind as well. So thank you so much, Tarsha. Really appreciate it, brother. I think Brother Edward, you popping like popcorn tonight. What's going on?
There's the information I'm putting down. Awesome, man. This is awesome.
It really is. Yes, and thank you all for watching. We really do appreciate it. So. But Brother Edward, we'll have her back mid-year and maybe even before that. We never know what's coming up, but definitely mid-year.
If we see a lot of people paying fines, then we'll have her back a little sooner, right?
Well, listen. Well, we're gonna pray nobody that you know have to pay a fine. We're gonna pray nobody, no one that you know or in your circle should have to pay a fine.
Absolutely.
And if they do, you need to tell them you should have been watching the show.
I know that's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you. Yeah. So thank you so much, Tarsha. Thank you all for watching tonight. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week, same time, Tuesday, 7 p.m. And
next week, April, we're gonna have our Porterfield reporters. They're gonna give us a recap of what occurred today at the city council meeting. Interesting things.
Awesome. Okay.
Interesting things.
I love it. You know, I love the Porterfield reporters. Yeah, I love the report. Tasha, I don't know if you know about the Porterfield reporters, but a couple of young teenagers, they're actually twins, brother and sister, and they attend the city council meetings. They're in high school, and they attend the city council meetings, and they do a report for us of what happened in city council. So
awesome. That sounds interesting.
We call it the Porterfield report. Yeah.
Very encouraging.
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you so much, and Godspeed. And you're probably going to be getting a lot of phone calls. I mean, well, I hope so, because I don't like people having to be paying fines, stuff like this.
Yeah,
I don't want to, for lack of a better word, it's stupid. Okay, it's also unfair.
Yeah, especially to the people that are actually doing good and what they're intending to do.
Yeah, and it's unfair, but that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to talk too much,
Right, get cut off.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody take care, and we will see you next week.
Next week.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.